hey, we're showing up today, 10 helmets to give away. Find 10 beginners without helmets or people that can't afford helmets, and we're gonna go hand them out and we're gonna talk about helmet safety. And like, that's the video. I have a bunch of days that never made it into a video that are like just me like going out and trying to throw hammers and stuff. So
I don't know why you'd be trying to throw hammers on the mountain. That seems wildly inappropriate and very irresponsible, but hey, you do you, dude. And so I'll actively be like telling her about it. And she's like, you've already told me this. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I, number one, forget that I told you, but also I didn't think that you were listening the first time because I didn't think that you cared about my video game talk. I hope you guys were able to take something away from this podcast, whether it be the small small
hair device.
The piece of device I gave you.
The hair advice I gave you.
The advice I gave about marriage. Welcome to the Buckhouse Podcast, the realest podcast on the planet. We dive into marriage, motivation, social media, and the everyday struggles nobody wants to talk about. No filters, just the truth. I'm your host, Benjamin Buckhouse, alongside with Johnathan Buckhouse right over there, as always. We're just two brothers that have a lot in common. We talk about everyday life, just what's going on. We talk about the wins that we have, the fails that we have, things like that. And we just be open with each other. We call each other out, and we just try to help each other go through this everyday life that we both are going through. So this is episode 58. I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like the last like portion of the so we did our first season was the first 52 weeks, or for first 52 episodes, which is like a year. I feel like those last couple weeks like flew by, and all of a sudden season 2 started, and these first weeks I feel like I don't want to say dragging, but it's just like I feel like it feels like season 2 started forever ago and it's only been like a month and a half. I don't know how you're feeling about that, bro.
Well, I think sometimes you add, like, we definitely added hype to season 2, and like amongst us, we were like, dude, season 2 is going to be huge, and we did a lot to change the look of the podcast. And when I say we, mainly you, but you know, like, we dropped merchandise, we did all this stuff. We're like, oh, season 2 is going to be great. And then I had a personal mishap. Also, we recorded the first episode of season 2 and we had to scrap the whole thing due to bad audio. And just like, there's been some bumps in the road for this quote unquote season 2 of our podcast. And so in a lot of ways, it has been a long time, and we've had to scrap 2, almost 3 episodes. I know for sure 2 episodes. So, you know, like, there's like, yeah, it hasn't been the smoothest, but like, that's something we talk about a lot in this podcast, is like, things aren't going to go as smooth as you always want them to be, or you think they're going to go. There's going to be bumps and hiccups and just like, but as long as you just keep showing up, get past those, keep grinding, keep your head down, eventually you're going to get where you want to be.
No, for sure. And I think that's something that your average person in this day and age struggles with. And I know that's something I struggle with, and it's just purely consistency. It's like, just keep doing it no matter what, right? And to be honest, like, I wouldn't say that like the analytics get to me for the podcast, but at the end of the day, like, you know, we're going on doing this for, you know, shoot. So this is 58. We've missed a couple of weeks due to technical difficulties. We've been doing this for, you know, 60 weeks or something like that, and we're still going. And in comparison, let's say, so when we started your channel together, by the time that we were, you know, like, I forget our 1,000 subscriber milestone, but we were like 3 months in and we had 1,000 subscribers, right? And on the podcast side of things, here we are 60 weeks in and we're still at that like 385 subscriber mark. So, you know, for us to be still doing this, still grinding, like, it's showing that consistency. Like, it's just like, just keep going, you know, still experiment. We do experiment with new things. We try new short strategies. We try new strategies with the way that the podcast just operates as a whole. That intro that we just said at the very beginning was actually something new for us, right? Things like that. So, you know, we're trying to experiment. We're trying to do new things to better the channel. But at the same time, like, the consistency is there. We just keep going. We keep showing up every week, assuming that there's no technical difficulties or anything like that. So I'm excited to just keep going, and I'm excited to try to reach new audiences, because I think that we do need to find a new audience other than kind of the audience that we got from, your channel. I think that we got to break into a whole new group of people.
Well, I feel like there is this, how do I say this? We haven't earned it yet. Like, we have not earned and learned the podcast space yet. Just because you might have success in one avenue or in one thing, like, clearly there's something we got to do better. Whether it's our audio, whether it's our editing, whether it's our talking points, whether it's our intro, there's this growing pain that you learn through consistency, through making episode after episode after episode, that one day it'll click and you'll find success. But you don't get to pick when that will be. You don't get to know or decide when it's going to be. But what I've learned over the years with my snowboard channel, which is pretty successful, is like there is a point where you learn something and it's like, it's an aha moment, like, ooh. And once that hits, man, you just start cruising. But you got to put in the work prior. Like, you got to earn it. And you got to keep learning and pursuing and pushing before the opportunity or the like a lot of people just expect or don't understand, like, man, I've been uploading shorts all winter long and I only got 300 new followers on Instagram. Like, it's not fair. All these other people have more. And it's like, well, you haven't earned it yet. Like, keep going.
Yeah, and I think that this is kind of a great talking point in the book that we're reading in our book club, the 10X rule of if you're going on to a new adventure, if you're going into a new job opportunity, if you're doing something like social media, whatever it may be, just have the expectation that you're going to have to do 10 times the amount of work that you actually think that you're going to have to do. It's going to take 10 times the amount of money, the 10 times the amount of investment, the 10 times the amount of employees it's going to take you to get there. That's the mindset you have to be successful in any field. And that's something that we dive into in this book that we'll probably touch on later. I've still been really enjoying this book. I know that you've already finished it, bro, but yeah, it's a really good book.
10X rule.
By the way, I did look it up. Day 41 was when we got to 1,000 subscribers. So it took us less than a month and a half to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's actually pretty cool to know. And I know that there's people out there like Cristiano Ronaldo got millions of subscribers within a day or whatever. But it's, like that's such a unique.
We weren't professional best in the world all time ever soccer players prior to starting it.
No, exactly. Like starting from scratch. Nobody knew who we were. Nobody knew our names, anything like that. I just moved up to the mountains. I was learning how to freaking snowboard at this point, right? We jump in, and sure enough, 41 days is when we got to 1,000 subscribers. Like, that's awesome. That's actually pretty cool to know.
There's 2 levels to why that worked so well. First one being timing the market. No one was making snowboard vlogs on YouTube. So we were the first to do something, and then we 10x'd the videos. We were like, hey, we're going for 130 days. Basically, there's going to be a new video on the channel every single day. And we kept up with it. Thus, the crazy growth right off the bat.
No, 100%. We set the goal that like nobody would have thought. I would say that nobody would have thought of doing, but like, so to give you guys more recap, obviously some of you guys already know the idea, like know who we are and know about our channel and things like that. But for anyone that doesn't know, when I moved up to the mountains, I told Johnathan that we should start a vlogging channel of snowboarding every day. And at first he was like, that's crazy. But he started looking more into it and he's like, all right, it's a pretty cool idea. Let's go ahead and look into this. So we started to do it, but Johnathan had already set a goal for us to go snowboarding like 100 days in the season. And when you live in the mountains, that's a very realistic goal, but it's also very difficult. It's not like, oh, I live in the mountains, I'm going to go snowboarding 100 times this year. No, you still have to show up pretty much every single day. You still have to show up and go riding, and you also have to have a job that provides that and everything. So we were working at Target 3 a.m. and Johnathan goes, you know what? We're going to go snowboarding 130 days in a season. And that's unheard of for most people. Like the season's open like 145 days. So to go snowboarding 130, like it's a bit ridiculous. And especially when your average person doesn't live in the mountains, they live down in like Denver, Colorado Springs, or just outside the the mountain resorts, because that's a lot more realistic. And then they go snowboarding maybe 10 times in a year. So for us to quite literally do 10 times, 13 times more than they do in a season, and then film and post every single day, like, yeah, it was insane. It blew people's minds. And shout out to Johnathan for putting in that work that he did every single day of staying up late editing and showing up to work the next day. So yeah.
That first year was a grind, man. I was many nights of 2 hours of sleep and just rinse, repeat, keep going. It's funny because, yeah, so when I would always get over 100 days a season. So when Ben moved up, I was like, hey, if we're going to do this YouTube channel thing, like we have to go for 130 days. Because I knew it was attainable, but I knew it was a big enough number. People were going to be like, what? Like 30 days past a 100-day season? Like, that's crazy. And it's funny because I'm currently in the middle. I think I just broke 100 days on my 200-day year. So normally you go for a day count in a season. So like the 2024, 2025 ski season. But personally, 2024 was one of the hardest years of my life. So I bought they're called a big ass calendar for 2025. And I wrote a bunch of goals down. And I was like, I refuse to have a repeat hard year. And so I've set myself a lot of goals. And one of those goals is to be on my snowboard for 200 days in 2025. It's funny because I still snowboarded a lot in 2024. It had nothing to do with snowboarding when my life was hard. But I look at my big ass calendar and I see lots of goals already accomplished and marked, and it's fun. It's cool because it has like a section to put like monthly goals. So I'll put monthly goals, but I also have like my yearly goals, and I got 2 of my yearly goals done. And yeah, it's in order to ride 200 days in a season, you got to get 16 days a month. And since we're heading into the like can't really snowboard months, I have to hit 23 days of riding this month, and I'm on 17.
23, you need 6 out of the next 8 days. You need 6 out of the next 8 days, bro.
Yeah, so you guys are coming up this weekend, which we're excited for.
Hey, you can go snowboarding.
I will be sneaking out for a second just to knock out some. There's gonna be some one and dones. Sadly, like this month, like I hate one and dones for these like day count goals and stuff. And honestly, I only have one and done out of the 100 days I have right now. And that's where you show up, you do one run, and then you leave. But it's only A Basin's open. I've gone the last 10 days. There's no terrain park. They've closed 70% of the mountain. So it's the same run, the same side hits that aren't that great. It's like, and then the snow is only good for a certain window because it's late season. So you gotta wait for it to thaw out for it to ride good. So if you show up too early, it's just a bulletproof, super hard run. If you show up super late, it's super slushy and everything, which is fine and fun. But I have so much to do before we leave because we're about to spend all of June in our camper, and I got my snowboard camp and stuff. So I have a lot to do. So it's like, ideally, it's like take Rome to school, right to the mountain, do a couple runs, come home. But now it's like take Rome to school, sit in the car for 2 hours for the snow to thaw. Then it's enjoyable to go snowboard. And then come home. So I just have it in my car a lot. But I've been getting a lot of work done.
There's quite a bit that I want to unpack on what you just said there. So I wrote some down. So we're gonna come back to it. But for starters, me coming up to your house this weekend, bro, don't let me stop you from accomplishing your goals and doing your stuff. Because to be honest, Kirsty and I are coming up to the mountains to go hang out with Roman and Bristol. We don't really care about you and Bobby. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But on a serious note, like we do want to spend time with our nieces and nephew. Like that's truthfully like why we're coming up, and also to see you guys. But we miss them, and something I put emphasis on is like Roman and I used to be very, very close, and like he still has that appreciation for me as his uncle and everything, and I cherish that so much. But like Bristol and I still are building that relationship, and it doesn't pain me, but like it's not the most ideal thing for me because, like I said, like Roman and I were super tight, and like I was there when Roman was born, and I lived with you and everything. So I miss seeing them, and I want to still be a big part of their life and everything. So if you need to go hit them out for longer, like go for it, dude. I'm not gonna stop you. Like I really like go do what you got to do.
What I plan to do is split board.
Okay.
So I'll be riding down a bulletproof run, but I'll be able to get a workout in and a run. Like early in the morning before the mountains open.
Very nice, very nice. I was gonna ask, like, what other video could you make rather than just like you snowboarding though? Like what's like, is there like a tutorial video or like just like any other video that you could make that could be different, right? We talked about like trying something new, right? So maybe you have a more talking video where you just like, maybe you are splitboarding, but it's a lot of you just talking to the audience while you're actually like climbing up the mountain. So it's almost like therapeutic or just kind of chill, vibey or something like that. Like snowboarding, you still snowboard down the mountain at the end, but it's like the main focus isn't that. Or is there a tutorial that you could do, or like day in the life of, like what to expect from splitboarding, like any type of video like that?
No, totally. I mean, I have a couple videos that I'm planning on filming, and honestly, this month is the least long form content I've ever posted since starting the YouTube channel, and it's frustrating. It's one of those things where I'm sitting on a bunch of videos. A lot of them are 360 videos, but a lot of them are from the winter. And I what it really comes down to is I do not want to post a video and know it's only going to get 2,000 to 3,000 views when I know it's like a 10 to 20, 30,000 view video. But it just needs to be posted at a different time. Like truly with my channel, there is a timing aspect to it. And there are videos that you can post late season. And I do plan on this whole trip to Oregon. I'm going to film and make family videos of like us going to the zoo again, us going to the ocean, like, because I love those videos, and Bristol and Roman love watching the zoo videos and the ocean videos and stuff, and I just love having those memories. But it's like I'm not filming anything like current, and I do want to go out and film something current, but I have no one to go film with, and I really don't want to go film in 360 and reframe and like all like it's just ugh. So I have gone to just 2 short form videos a month instead of 3, because once again, it's just timing. Something I'm trying to get better at, and this is like anti the book we just read, but I'm trying to not over put in effort when like the results are just guaranteed what the results are going to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and because it is counterintuitive to like the 10x rule, but it's more so like it's putting in that 10x effort in the right area and
the right time.
Yeah, and the right time. And so I gotta know what you mean. And something that the book pushes for is like studying. You kind of like so Grant Cardone, the author, is a master's class salesman, and he started off in like in car sales, and then moved on to realty or real estate, that type of stuff. So with him though, he talks about how like he would be looking at in 2008 when the when job opportunities failed and all that stuff, like when the economy was failing, all of his competitors were backing down and he doubled down. Like he was studying his audience and being like when's the opportunity to strike and everything like that. And it's all risky and everything, but yeah, for you it's like you could still be putting in the 10x effort of like filming and getting stuff done, but it's more so like, yeah, maybe posting is not the right opportunity. That doesn't mean that you're not getting work done. It doesn't mean that you're not putting in that effort. It's just posting, the actual act of posting isn't the right opportunity. Like this isn't the right time. Because what I was kind of just thinking is assuming you have the time on your hands. Now I know you got your snowboard camp up, so time is precious at this exact moment in time. But it's like going into the summer, bro. You could be putting in 10x effort on each one of these videos, putting in so much effort on each one of these videos, but you can post them, but just make them private. Just make them private, and then when you know, like when the season starts, or when you're mid season and you need an upload, dude, you already have everything done. The thumbnail's already made, the video's already edited, it's already uploaded. All you have to do is click public.
That's exactly what I plan to do with all these videos. Like I literally have 12 full-blown videos, and then like a couple that I can make where it's like I kind of have to narrate, like, hey guys, like I had like these 4 sick days, and like here's like, because I like went out and made short form videos and not a long form, but I still have enough content to like put together like a story of that day. So there has to be like some type of narration through it. And so yeah, I have tons of content that I'm going to grind out this summer and save for the winter. And when I posted 2 videos a day for 2 months, we did that, a lot of those videos in the summertime. Like I went into that season with like a whole month of videos already made and edited and uploaded, like you're saying. So there's that, and I like you're saying is like, what I said is like, yeah, maybe uploading isn't like what I need to be doing at this very second. So like, I've read 3 books this month. I'm like 30 pages from finishing this book. So like, I am still doing things. Like I'm trying to work on self-improvement, getting some knowledge in my head, and then preparing for this month in the camper. Like it's also like, I guess, a limbo stage where it's like, okay, got to get to camp because camp is the most important thing going on right now. I'm going to film a video every day of camp, and I'm going to have 5 videos to edit from that experience. I might even film a whole like heading to camp video, like us loading up the camper, driving out there, the first like arrival day of the campers. I think a lot of that could be fun, and just like I'm excited to start making content that's not filmed in 360. I cannot stress how sick of editing 360 footage I am, and I have that the 12 videos I have are all in 360. And it's especially because it's such an amazing thing, like the 360 footage and camera, it's all amazing. But when you go out and you film 56 clips, 2 hours of footage, all in 360, you got to reframe all of that, and you got to take that 2 hours, put it back into the editor, and then edit it. So like, it's a lot of work.
That was actually something I was going to ask you when it comes to my suggestion for this weekend of like just taking a more chill vibe to it. I know that there's so many benefits of the 360 camera, such as just like the stability, but also if something just randomly happens, right? Let's say you're hiking and then up a mountain, and all of a sudden this rock starts tumbling down. Like, although you could just put your camera on your head, it'll film everything, right? That type of thing. And so you never miss an opportunity. But it does seem like the editing process alone, the just reframing that video takes 10 times the amount of effort than it really should, type of thing. So what I was going to say is like, is there an opportunity for you to like not film in 360 for that? Because I know that is a feature to those cameras of like, of just filming in a 1920 by 1080 frame or 4K frame or whatever you want to do. But it's more so just so that way you can have the intent of filming a video, but it's you're setting yourself up for success to where it's not going to take you as much time to edit.
No, I definitely, like any talking points that you're saying, if I was skinning up the mountain, I was going to talk to the camera, I would not do that in 360. I would have that in single lens. And so I do my best to not film everything in 360. But like if I go to Germany to go snowboarding, I'm going to put the camera in 360 and kind of just like roll with it, if that makes sense. Because there's just so much to capture and see and do and stuff. So on the day-to-day, yeah, what it really comes down to is I need a filmer. And next season, my goal is to hire a part-time filmer 2 days a week that it's like, okay, hey, we're going to go ride for 4 hours. I have 5 videos I want to film today. Focusing more on the educational than the vlog style. And it's like, okay, let's go knock out like 2 how to carve videos. We're going to knock out how to do a board slide, how to do a 50-50, how to do a 180 video today. and we show up with that intention and we knock it out. Or it's like, hey, we're showing up today and I have 100 helmet, or I have 10 helmets to give away. We're going to go find 10 beginners without helmets or people that can't afford helmets, and we're going to go hand them out, and we're going to talk about helmet safety. And like, that's the video. But none of that's filmed in 360.
Yeah, whereas like when you're filming by yourself for multiple purposes, it's almost like you need to have it in 360 for those types of videos.
Yeah. And so then it's like, okay, 2 days a week, because I definitely I ride 5 days a week, like for sure. So it's like 2 days out of the week, I know I'm getting my long form videos filmed where I can just stick them in the editor and start editing. And I can kind of go back to, I don't want to say go back to, but I really didn't post much educational content this year. And like one of the number one feedbacks I get is like, yo, you taught me how to snowboard. Like your videos helped me so much in getting better at snowboarding. Thank you for helping me get better at snowboarding. And a lot of my stuff I made the year prior still got watched this year. And I don't think I could go 2 years of not posting like videos helping people get better at snowboarding. Does that make sense?
Yeah, especially those evergreen videos of like always searchable videos. Yeah, you need those. And I also know that you have such great passion or such great drive from educating people on snowboarding. Like you've talked about how like that alone, it makes you feel so accomplished with your channel, and it's a very fulfilling part of your channel. So yeah, bro, like I'd say like go back to those, the how-tos and things like that, because that does inspire people, and it benefits both you and your audience. And so I would encourage you to go back to those.
Yeah. So finding something to help film, because then also there's those days where like, dude, I just want to go in the park and I want to get it. And I just want to try and like do as many cool tricks as I can. I want them filmed. I don't want a camera on my head. I don't want a camera in my hand. I just want to be able to chuck me and get it recorded. And so having someone that can show up and film those things, like this year, Michael did that for me a couple times. So I have a bunch of days that never made it into a video that are like just me like going out and trying to throw hammers and stuff. So
I don't know why you'd be trying to throw hammers on the mountain. That seems wildly inappropriate and very irresponsible, but hey, you do you, dude. One last thing I wanted to talk about from that your conversation earlier about like your 100-day challenge and just having some one and dones and everything was actually just how important those one and done days are. Because when we were snowboarding for that 130-day challenge, there were a couple of days where, yeah, we did just a couple one and dones because we were exhausted, or we had that, we had to work some extra time at work. Like we had to put in some overtime at work because of, this or that or whatever it may be. We were limited on time. And so, yeah, we still showed up to the mountain and just did the one run, and that was that. And then we went home. Right. And that sounds kind of lame or whatever, but it goes back to what I said about the podcast of like consistency, like showing up every single day, showing up every single week, whatever your goal is, whatever your challenge is like showing up is half the battle, is more than half the battle. It's just showing up, right? When it comes to the gym, not every gym session is going to be amazing. Not every gym session is going to have this pump to you. You're not going to leave with like feeling like you're the most invincible person. But just because you showed up, that means more to you, more to your motivation, your discipline, your consistency than anything. So don't be ashamed of those one and done days, bro. I know that it's better or feels better to have like a full day dedicated to it or whatever, but it's like those one and dones go a long way.
I think the biggest thing I'm trying not to do, and not to throw shade at any of my friends, I'm not going to name call, but I have a couple friends that like, I had a 200-day season, and like 170 of the days were one and dones. So it's like, I don't want to do it that way. I want to have a certain level of like my 200-day season, because in reality it's quantity over quality. Like I would 100% rather have 100 quality days over a 200-day season. The closest I've ever been to 200 days was 196 days. So like it's one of those things where I came so close but came short. And so I refuse to I can't go my whole life knowing that I almost had a 200-day season. And so I really can't. And so there's that. And then yes, the reality is you go to the mountain and do a one and done, especially if you have like a ton of stuff on your plate, you got things going on. If that's what has to happen, then that's what has to happen. Like you gotta roll with it. What I tried, so like when I did my one and done yesterday, I did the whole run switch. Like I still found a way to make it challenging, to make it to where I can improve. Like it was beneficial. I tried to make it as much quality as I could, so as opposed to me like going to the top and just bombing down real fast. And I still made a video from it, and so try and still hit the quality aspect. And the biggest thing is if you miss a day, it's so much easier to miss a day after missing a day. So if you don't go riding today, it's so much easier to not go riding tomorrow. And then the next thing you know, you didn't go riding for 7 days. And then before you know it, you're like, it's been a whole month and I haven't gone snowboarding. Where if you I go snowboarding, so I showed up. And I go snowboarding, so I'm there again. And you just keep showing up, just like you said with the gym. Like, once you miss a gym day, it's so much easier to miss a gym day again. It's like, it's much better to just show up to the gym, walk on a treadmill for 20 minutes, do 5 bicep curls and get out of there, like, than to not show up at all.
Yeah, to be honest, I needed that because I've been struggling with going to the gym. I still am going and everything, but I am most definitely not as consistent as I need to be. And I've been really diving into that 4 Tendencies book that I talked about, which is the 4 Tendencies. I'm not going to dive too much into it, but it's basically there's 4 types of ways that people perceive inner and outer expectations. People that do well with outer expectations, people that do well with inner expectations, people that don't do well with outer expectations, people that don't do well with inner expectations, and things like that, right? So I've been diving into that more and trying to figure out myself and how to manipulate the way that I talk to myself, the way that I motivate myself to then get stuff done, because Johnathan and I are actually the opposite side on the spectrum here. I am what they call a rebellious person, where I struggle with outer expectations and I struggle with inner expectations, whereas Jonathan's an upholder, where he does well with outer expectations and he does well with inner expectations, right? So we're on complete opposite sides of the spectrum here. But for me, what I've seen to kind of actually work out is, so Johnathan just talked about goals on his big calendar and getting this stuff done. And guess what? I got a big calendar too, and I have barely touched the thing. It took me 4 months to hang it, and I barely touched the thing. But I've learned that a to-do list is daunting, and it sets those expectations, and I don't do well with expectations. Like, I feel rebellious towards someone. I see an expectation, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's just the way my brain operates. I don't want to be that way, but that's just the way my brain operates. So something that actually works well for me is actually a to-done list, where I write down the things that I did do. So if I'll have a to-done list for the day, and it could be writing down like mundane stuff where it's like, I don't actively do this for my day-to-day, but I did this at work, where it's like, I'm going to do this I do this thing every single day, but I still wrote it down on my to-done list of like, as an example for day-to-day is like, brush my teeth, or shower in the morning, take my dogs out. Like, that stuff I'm going to do no matter what. I'm going to do that no matter what. But just writing down on the to-do list, it makes me feel more accomplished, but also builds that momentum to where then I can write down a couple like to-do list things where I'm actively going to do it. So if I'm sitting down going to edit the podcast, I'll write down, edit the podcast. I'm actively doing it, but by me writing it down and saying like, oh, this is something I did, it tricks my brain into seeing things differently. Does that make any sense?
I've never heard of a to-do list, but that's pretty cool. It makes sense to me because, one, it is all about momentum. Like, I literally just said that with the 200-day season. Like, you get momentum of not doing something, you get momentum of doing something. So by missing a one and done day because you're only going to get one run in, you lost your momentum, and now all of a sudden it's easier to not go the next day because your momentum went from momentum of going to momentum of not going. Thus, like, when it comes to getting a to-do list done, I know I have like this paper right here of like a ton of stuff done on this to-do list, and when I first look at it, it's like, oh, there's so much to do on this list, and I get one thing done, and also it's easier to get the next thing done, and also I'm like, oh, I did 5 things on my to-do list today, like super like quick and whatever because I got some momentum behind me. But I could see how like if you had a whole page of to do, you're like, I'm not doing that. There's so much. Like I'm so irritated. I'm not going to get going. But if it's like it starts with like, oh, I did a podcast with Johnathan, and I created the new intro for the channel, and these are things that you just did because we were actively here doing it, and then you're just like, holy crap, I've already done like two super important things, which was film the podcast and come up with the new intro. Might as well make a thumbnail for this, or like, I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but like if I write down a to-do list or if I make plans, it feels like I said, like there's that expectation where it's like I have to do this. I have to do this. And to some people, once again, like I'm not going to dive too much into the book because we're not reading that this month or anything, but it talks about how like some people like Johnathan and Upholder on average, when they have that feeling of like structure and necessity of like getting stuff done, they feel free from doing it. I'm not speaking on Jonathan's behalf, but his type of personality, like they feel freedom in structure and accomplishing those to-do lists and things like that. Whereas for me, the way that my personality type perceives that is it feels like it's limiting myself when I'm like, I have to get this done. It's like, oh, I have to get this done. Like I feel so boxed in, like I have to do this, and I don't feel like I have freedom. So instead, yes, you still have to have like a to-do list or a checklist, but it's not something that you look at every single day. So it's like there's like almost like reminders where like, it's like, hey, this is something I do need to get done, right? So having that kind of in the back of your head or having it written down somewhere is important just to make sure that like, hey, did you get this done, right? Like
if I don't have a to-do list, I will forget things. Like I have so much to get done on different aspects, whether it's like what I need to go film to what I need to go edit to what I need to email or who I need to talk to or what products am I work, So like that's why I write these to-do lists because I'll sit down at this desk and there's 7 directions to go. It's like, which direction am I going to go? And I look at my list and sometimes it's just the first thing I look at. I'm like, all right, that's the direction I'm going. Because I even have like to do like things to do in my like life of being a parent, or like yesterday one of my to-do lists before we're leaving for Oregon is like call Roman out of school. He's missing the whole last week of school. So I need to like call the school, fill out the paperwork, letting him know that Roman's for end of school day is going to be way sooner than what they're saying it's going to be, like just things like that are, it's easy to forget and to just to not get done. I will say like I get depressed if I'm chilling, like get in my head. I don't enjoy it. Like yesterday I got a lot of stuff done in the morning. We got home with the kids around like 4:30. We ate dinner, so it's like 5. And we go to bed at 8:30. And really, like I did enough work in the day that like I didn't need to keep working. Like I had a successful work day. And so I was just like laying in bed with Bobby. The kids were playing Play-Doh. They were distracted and we were just there. And I'm just like struggling to just be in my bed with my wife because like I want to keep doing things. I don't want to just sit here and just lay here.
I think that comes with like the drive and motivation side of things, right? I don't necessarily I may be wrong here, but I don't necessarily think that's tied to your personality type that I'm referring to of like the 4 tendencies. But it's more so that you yourself, Johnathan, like you have so much to work for. Like you're being around your family almost reminds you why you put in so much work, right? Because they are a big part of your why of like, I'm going to be successful for my family.
It's funny you say that because if I show you my screensaver, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's Bristol sleeping, and like she's surrounded by like her stuffies, her princess stuff. She's sleeping so sweetly in her princess world of like security and comfort. Like you just look at her and I'll send you a screenshot of it, bro. But it's, I'm providing her such a protected life, that she gets to be a princess and like I just had this thought of her like just dreaming in her little princess world and everything like that. And I wrote, this is why you work so hard, so that she can like sleep and be so carefree. Whether there are kids out there that like their life isn't that way, like they're either sleeping on the floor or they don't have food, like brutal things like that. And so for you to be like, being around your family motivates, like, is a motivator for you to go work hard. It's so freaking true. It's hard to lay in bed with my wife, and my wife's like, man, I really want a house. Oh, man, I really want. She's just mentioning these dreams, and in my head, it's like, okay, that's one brand deal. Okay, that's like if we accomplish this goal, like that gets us closer to that goal. And so like, yeah, like being around my family almost makes me want to work more. Especially
there's this natural thing that I guess men do, and this is like a side note, because we still have more to talk about on this subject, but like this is like a side note for marriage of like, for the husband at least, is for us, when somebody comes to us with a problem, our natural instinct is to fix it, right? If you're like have an issue at work, or
I can't help myself.
Dude, like, yeah, like if you come to us and you're like ranting about something, it's like we want to help you, we want to give you a solution, we want to be the problem solver. But sometimes your wife or your significant other just wants to be heard in that moment. That's all that they want. They don't want the solution. Yeah. So for some people, this has worked, and it's boundaries are really important, but also honesty and just communication is really important. So if your wife comes to you, your significant other comes to you and is ranting about work or discussing this problem that they have at work, you can. It's completely healthy to stop and be like, "Hey, I hear you. Is this something like? Is this a conversation you want me to listen to, or is this a conversation you want me to help solve?" And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, I just want to be listened to. Like, I just want to be heard. And so you can go, okay, and just listen to what they have to say. Like it's something I've done, and it is actually extremely healthy to do in your relationship, of just being like, okay, this is something you just want me to listen to. That is fine. I can do that. Especially because if you don't do that and you give them a solution to the problem, it may actually upset them, right? So it's like having that boundary is there. So for you, bro, it's like, yeah, Bobby's sitting there saying, I want a house, blah, blah, blah. Your natural instinct is like, how am I going to solve this problem of getting a house? It's working. I need to go work. Like, it's almost self-destructive to a certain extent. It stresses me out that I like snap a little bit. Like, that's brutal. I blame mom for the ability to come up with the idea of how to solve the issue, because our mom is just like an idea person. She fully lacks all execution, but she can come up with. She's just a dreamer. I got all the time. She'll like write me or like text me and be like, "You should do this video. You should do this. You should do this." And she's just like out there dreaming and scheming and stuff. And I'm so thankful for that talent that she gave. I know she gave it to me. I don't know if she gave it to you, but like, I have no problem being like, hey, like, we need to make 10 videos, like, and just look at a paper and be able to write 10 completely out of nowhere new video ideas that have never been thought of before. So like when I see a new business or like someone with an issue, I'm like, well, here's 6 ways to solve your issue. Which one do we want to go for? And the one thing that I have different than my mother is I actually have execution. Like I could be like, all right, it's on, we're doing it. Maybe it's because I saw her never take action on any of her dreams, but mom, I think blessed a lot of us with the creativity side of things. But yeah, no, I relate to that a lot, of like just her giving me the ability to be creative, to think outside the box, or to just come up with something out of thin air, and to pat myself on the back, or to give examples. Like, how many times have you called me, bro, and been like, hey, I have this video and I just can't think of a thumbnail and title? And like within seconds, I'm like, okay, well, what if the thumbnail looks like this and this is your title? And like that's it. Like within seconds, like that's all it takes. So I'm extremely thankful that mom blessed us with that creativity side of things. I mean, this podcast is a good example of it as well. Like, we don't show up with cliff notes or talking points or whatever. We just sit here and start talking, and I feel like we have no issues filling up an hour-long podcast with direct, like new points and things. Yeah, I'm I'm actively writing down kind of like reminders in this podcast, because like especially just to have a better fluidity of like when you were talking about the one and dones and like what you're gonna do, I had like 4 or 5 things I wanted to bring up, but I was like, how for the sake of the podcast, I can't bring up 4 or 5 things all at the same time. So let me go ahead and write them down. So that's kind of what I've done. Which I kind of did want to transition. I guess wait, go ahead. I am bad at being like just puking information out. So something that I think that we struggle with in the podcast is like talking about the same thing sometimes over and over, right? For instance, I've explained what Jonathan and I have done in this, in the 130-day challenge multiple times. And at the end of the day, you guys have probably heard it every single time. And do you guys need to hear it again? Not necessarily, but I do it also for that one viewer.
That's that bad.
Yeah.
Let's say this. You have to, when you make content, you have to assume that more, like 70 to 80% of the people consuming your content have never seen you before.
And that's why I do it, though. That is why I do it, because I do know that is a part of it where not everyone knows who we are. So I'm doing that for the people that don't know who we are. But just as we looked in our analytics last episode, it's actually vice versa, where 70% of the people here are subscribed. Now, that doesn't mean that they know who we are, but 70% of the people are subscribed. And the other 30% are not, right? So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button down below. It goes a long way. Don't miss out on any of our content. But also, it's actually, in this example, it's actually almost better for us to assume that people know who we are. Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry if I over-explain stuff or explain things over and over. That's something I struggle with my wife, especially when I talk with her about things like video games. I'll talk with her about like what's going on in the esports world, or what's going on in, like, there's a tournament this weekend, and so I'll actively be like telling her about it, and she's like, you've already told me this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I number one forget that I told you, but also I didn't think that you were listening the first time because I didn't think that you cared about my video game talk or whatever it may be, right? So
yep.
What I wanted to go back to of my crazy little to-done list that I do, that to-done list was also, I just did this yesterday, so I can't necessarily say it's changed my life and is working wonders, but something I did that I'm looking forward to is, so before Johnathan recommended the 10X rule, I actually read a different book by Grant Cardone called Be Obsessed or Be Average. And it follows a very similar concept, but he talks a lot about how important it is to write your goals down every single day. Every single day, write your goals down. He says at the start of the day and at the end of your day, to essentially constantly remind yourself on why you're doing something. And I don't know why it took me a second to get to this point, but I think that the 4 Tendencies book has also helped me out with this, is how important it is to tie a purpose to your goal. And like I said, I've just started this, so I can't say it's like life-changing or anything, but this is just what I'm going through on my day-to-day life, right? Is my goals previously looked like this. The podcast makes $5,000 a month. I own a tan Toyota Land Cruiser with white top. I own a house with a big backyard and a garage, right? That's what I would write down. And the purpose behind that is saying, as if like that's something I've already achieved. There's a kind of a mental trick behind that of like the pushing you to get that. But where my mind shift now has changed is I wrote those same goals down, but differently. So instead of saying the podcast makes $5,000 a month, I wrote down, I influence people through the podcast, which makes me $5,000 a month. Like, the reason why I'm doing it, I do it to influence people. And then for my Land Cruiser, I love that vehicle. I think it's a beautiful vehicle and I would love to own one. Why though? I go on great adventures with my wife in my Toyota Land Cruiser. That's what I wrote down. Or when it comes to owning a house, it's like, I own a house in a safe, secure, and nice area for my wife and I, right? And I have a backyard for my dogs. That way they can just go outside and do whatever they need to do, right? And I can't remember the last one that I wrote down or that I gave you as an example. But basically the point is like tying those goals to a why, like giving a why to them, right? So it's not just, I want this, I want this, I want this. It's, why do I want this? Why do I want this? To then like remind myself of like, it's not just that I want this vehicle, or it's not that I just want a house. It's, why do I want that house? Oh, that's right. I want this house because it does provide value to my life. It does provide a purpose to my life, right? So that's something I'm switching to, and that is kind of a combination of like what Grant Cardone talks about in the Obsessed or Be Average book, but also the 10X rule, and then also like that whole 4 tendencies thing. So I'll update you guys next week on how I feel about it. But yeah,
I like that, dude. Yeah. Just so you guys know, the podcast does not make $5,000 a month.
It makes $0 a month right now, which is why we have merch. Come check out the merch. Links down below. We got stickers, we got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got all that fun stuff for you.
But the goal is to, whatever the podcast makes, give it to Ben, so then he could then go full time on content creation and helping with podcasts and whatnot in this world. But I like that. I love that a lot. I know when I write goals, I don't do it like that at all. I put like pay Bobby's car off, get new tires, like just more. It's almost like another to-do list. My goals are like just more to-do lists.
And see, like I was saying, like I do my to-done list because to-do lists don't really work for me. Like it feels like I feel restricted and like I'm in a box and things like that. So in order for it to feel free, it's like I need to make it seem like a choice. Like I'm choosing to do this. And why am I choosing to do it? Because of this, right? Or like because of that. So
Oh, that's awesome. I was going to say with your big ass calendar, in order to get you to start using it or like you got to look at it different. You don't need to like put goals or like what you need to get done on your calendar. Put what you did on your calendar so you can remember your year.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I did do because like I said, so I did start this late because like I bought it. Johnathan convinced me to buy it. I shouldn't say convinced me. Like he was talking about it and I was like, okay, you convinced me, I'm gonna buy it. So I bought it and then it took me a while to hang it up. I literally hung it up. When was it? Like midway through April or something. Like it took me forever to hang it up. And then I conveniently did 75 hard at the start of this year. So I was actually able to backlog like when was I working out and things like that. So I did that. So it is kind of like a to-done list right now. I just haven't updated it in like 2 or 3 weeks, right? So I need to go back to it.
Just make it your before bed routine. Like start brushing your teeth and then walk right up to it. And be like, today I edited the podcast and hung out with Kirsty.
Yeah, like it's more of like a reflection calendar than it is like a planning calendar, like reflecting on what I did do rather than planning on what I'm going to do type of thing.
Well, especially if it, once again, if that motivates you, like I highlight every day I went snowboarding in green. So when I look at it and the entire calendar is green, it like excites me. It's like, you're doing it. You're going for the 200 days. Like, keep grinding. Does that make sense? It's not like there's literally for like today, there's nothing written for me to do today on my calendar. It's after I do today, I go to the calendar and I put in what I've done.
No, that makes sense. Sorry. Shadow's asking for attention, so I'm actively petting him. We're fine.
He's like, give me attention.
Well, and I honestly, like, I need to give him more attention. I love the dude so much, so. But hey, he's coming up to the mountains with us this weekend. You want to go see Shelby?
Excited. Show.
Want to go see Roman?
Susie.
And Susie? Okay, we'll lay down.
He's like, what is this little rat dog?
Yeah.
We shaved Susie to go on this trip, and she looks like a lamb now.
You're gonna have to send me a picture of Susie now.
Well, and I shaved her because I'm a big fan of saving money on stupid. Like I hate overpaying for stupid things. Like I will not go pay someone $30 to cut my hair. I will cut my hair myself, and I will save $30, especially when I need to get a haircut every 2 weeks because my hair grows back so fast. So it's like when it comes to shaving the dog, I'm like, why would I pay someone else to shave the dog? I'm gonna do it. And I look at her; she's all patchy, and like there's a couple spots where I went too short, and she's like got bald spots, and I'm like, I'll get better.
I will admit I fell into the trap of spending a pretty penny on haircuts, and I still would push a haircut as long as I could. I would get a haircut like once every month and a half or something, which is not your average haircut, especially when you're cutting it shorter, right? I would go with like those skin fades. But to be honest, I wasn't necessarily hiding. It's just I found a hairstyle that fit me that like would kind of hide my widow peaks a little bit more, and I enjoyed that. But you know, it was just my hair was thinning so much, and I was just like so over it that I was like, I just want to go bald at this point. And my wife was like, no, don't do it. So I was like, well, can I do a buzz cut? She's like, fine. So now I just cut my own hair. I just take a razor. Speaking of which, I'm actually going to do that after this podcast. But and shout out to you guys for not roasting me for my hair. No, I'm joking. I don't care. But no, I am most definitely losing that hair.
Last Buckhouse brother with hair. I still have a lot of it.
Don't worry, bro. You got some hair, but
It's
you're a little bit shorter.
It's coming for me.
You're a little bit.
There's a theory.
Go ahead.
But so we grew up in this house. We call it the Sequoia house because it's on this road called Sequoia, and it has really hard water in that house. And so Tyler lived there and Ben lived there for like extended period of time. So the joke is that they lost their hair because they stayed in the house with the really hard water.
So there is that. I also, for the longest time, I would shampoo and condition my hair every single day. And I realized actually, especially when you have such, like, for anybody, that's not healthy at the end of the day, like for your hair, but also it can be tied to hair loss, is like putting those chemicals in there. And then also, yeah, the hard water, because Tyler and I both did live there as adults for a long period of time. The hard water could be doing something to there. So like there's a lot of variables that could go into it. But at the end of the day, it's also the genetics, right? I don't really know why Tyler and I got the shorter end of the stick, because both of our grandparents have hair. Our dad has hair. You have hair, but Tyler and I do not. So it is what it is. I'm ready to go bald.
I might be the shortest brother, but I still got hair.
And hey, we may not have hair, but at least we're not the shortest brother. No. But no, I don't like. I was talking with Kirsty about it because like confidence is a big thing in life, and if you don't know that, like, I'm sorry, because like that's something that I really wish that you can find is confidence. And because like growing up, I would just have like a certain hairstyle, or even as a young adult, I just like cut my hair one way or whatever. And looking at it now, especially since I don't have all this hair anymore, it's like there's so many hairstyles I would have tried when I was younger or when I had hair, right? But I didn't necessarily have the confidence to. But now I've got the confidence to, but I don't have the hair to do it, right? And so for you, bro, while you have it, try all the hairstyles you can, bro. I encourage you, do whatever you can.
That's why I'm literally in the process. I'm gonna cut my hair today. I'm in the process of growing out the top like a little extra long and then buzzing the side and having one of those like a lot more hair up top and like fully like kind of bald on the sides. So yeah, I'm experimenting with the haircuts for sure.
I'm really curious to see what that's gonna look like. But yes, like it's like try something new, bro. Because like I wish I could try crazy new hairstyles, but I can't. I just don't have the hair for it.
On the note of confidence, to end it, I don't know if you saw. Well, first off, you can get confidence in life from one thing. I remember when I was younger, I didn't go to school till the 9th grade. And so when I started going to school in the 9th grade, I was definitely a little socially awkward, like lacked a lot of confidence, but I was really good at video games. And I found my confidence by being like one of the best Halo players in the school. Ended up being one of the best Halo players in the world. I'm joking. But I found confidence in that aspect, which then helped me bleed that into other aspects in my life. And it's one of those things where, yes, you might not have confidence in snowboarding or in whatever, but like try to pull confidence from other areas of your life that you are incredibly good at. And if you aren't good at anything, I sent this quote to you, and I don't know if you saw it, from Alex Hormozy, but he was asked, what would you do, or what if everything you've ever said, he's like a motivational talker, he's like, if everything you've ever said is completely wiped away and you can only leave one piece of advice, and then like period, and then you're gone, whatever, this is the one thing you leave the world, what is it? And he was like, pick one thing that you want, obsess and put so much work into it that there is no chance for you to not find a level of success. And I love that so much, because in a lot of ways with the YouTube channel, that's what happened. Was I was like, okay, I'm going to post every single day, because if I show up every single day, every day is an at bat, and if I just absolutely flood the market, because I've succeeded in this, but I was like, if I have the most snowboard videos on the internet, there's no chance that I won't be the most viewed person on the internet for snowboarding. And that's what my mission was. So pick something, completely flood the market with it, whether it's posting or showing up or repetitions or whatever that aspect is, that you do it so much that it's impossible for you to not find some level of success in it. And that will give you confidence for sure.
This could open up a whole new conversation, and we don't have the time for that, but it's more so like, I also refuse that you're not good at anything. I refuse to believe that somebody is not good at anything. You may feel that way, but I refuse to believe that. As a religious man, I believe that God gives gifts to everybody, and it's our responsibility to find that gift, right? And there's a lot of quizzes you can take. There's a lot of this or that, but like you could be a great leader and you just haven't had the opportunity to lead anything, but you could be the greatest leader. And there's a saying where it's a hypothetical situation, but somebody dies, they go to heaven and they look at God and they're like, God, I've got so many questions for you. And one of them is like, who was the best general in the military? Like in all of the militaries, who was the best general? And God points to this guy that's a plumber and he goes, he's the best general. And then he responds, he's like, but God, that guy's a plumber. He never even served in the military. It's like, yeah, because he never asserted himself. He never tried. He never did it. But that guy would have been the best general. Right? So going back to what you were just saying of like, find that one thing. So it's like, do some self-discovery. You may not like confidence usually is you struggle with it when it comes to exterior things, but it's like for yourself, like for your own self, just go and try to find something that you may not have known that you're interested in, right? Try a new hobby, do a study on like what you might be good at, figure yourself out, figure out what you want to do, and just go all in on it. And you could truthfully follow through with God's plan for yourself on becoming the best version of yourself and what he was expecting for you, the life he wanted for you. And just, go all in on it. And the confidence will come as you see how easy it comes to you, like how successful you could be in that field and how easy the confidence follows up with it. But yeah, I refuse to believe that somebody is bad at everything.
Well, I also think like people refuse, or like, I feel like there's no difference between, other than like obviously like an Elon Musk is like our generation's super genius. But like for the average person, like there's no difference between me and anybody else other than I've chosen to go through mental doors in my brain to level up to next levels.
Agreed.
And some people just like refuse to put in the extra work or the time or the next step to just go to that next level. And they're just like content and just stay where they are, opposed to just like putting in the work and the effort to just go through that next mental. It's all mental. All of it is mental. Like I will never make less money than I currently make, not because of the job I have, but it's because of my mental capacity of like knowing how to make the money.
I hope you guys were able to take something away from this podcast, whether it be the small marital, the piece of advice I gave.
Small hair device. Hair advice.
The advice I gave about marriage, the advice we gave about hair, the advice we gave about YouTube, just the advice about showing up every day, whatever thing you might have been able to take away from this. I hope you guys enjoyed something from this podcast. If you did, please let us know down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I think that we killed this episode, bro. I think it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did as well. How you feeling, bro?
I'm a little tired. It's 5:14 in the morning. We start these things at 4 a.m. And I'm excited. I'm motivated. I'm ready to conquer the world. And this podcast gives me a platform to spew all the knowledge that I've put together throughout the week. And I'm excited to share that with you guys. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.